2017年是一个网红经济大爆发的年代。viralaccess 呢，看到通过品牌以网红为经济的 influencermarketing 影响者营销的策略，那个到底是什么呢？现在我们特别邀请到 viralaccess 来自于瑞典的 Mr. Folke at Home 来为各位分享，欢迎。
Good evening, everybody. 大家好. This is a very exciting night for us, and we're also living in a very interesting period of time, which I guess is the reason why we're all sitting here tonight, unlocking the potential of this new era. My name is Folke at Home, and I started my first company in Shenzhen back in 2006. And a lot of things has happened since 2006, especially if you live in Shenzhen and China. Today, I run a company called viralaccess, a company that we define as a social marketing company, a definition and a concept that didn't even exist 10 years ago. So what does it mean today? Well, to put it easy, we say that we work with social media as our only communication tool, and we work with influencers, or better said, micro KOLs, to tell brand stories. And later on, I'm going to continue explaining why we do this. So, we are living in a world of overexposure. And this overexposure has led us to become very ad resistant. We are fed up with brands and fed up with this traditional way of one-way communication, having brands shouting at us, telling us who is making the best burgers or who are making the best shoes. Today, we want to have stories told in a different way. We want to have the information curated. We need to personalize the messaging. We need to engage more with our end consumers. Better said, we need to find new ways to communicate with our end consumers. And here's just some stats, explaining these things, how we are affected by referrals and that we read online. And actually 93% or above 90% claim that they are affected by what they read online. More than 80% say that they have directly converted to a product that they have read a review online. And more than 50% actually say that they will convert in the future after have been reading an online review by a third party. I think last year was the first year where the digital ad spending actually equaled or surpassed the traditional ad spending. Finally, because this hasn't always been the case, right? So this means that people actually don't question that much that we actually need to focus more on digital. However, in terms of social media, we're still seeing too many companies struggling, finding the right formula, how they can incorporate social media into their marketing strategies and into their business portfolios. Sure, we spend some money on Facebook ads, Instagram banners, but to be honest, that's just the same old melody, just with a new platform. Like I said before, we need to find new ways to communicate with our end consumers. So this slide sort of explains the journey where we have gone from celebrities to micro-influencers. Historically, we have been customized to use one big name, one big celebrity that we use as a brand ambassador and have him or her as the anchor of your brand. The problem with this approach is that it's very expensive and it's also pretty risky. And to be honest now, it's not that very effective. Then came along the KOLs and the influencers. They were very effective and still are. However, they're not that many. So it's actually pretty problematic to scale up and they also tend to be a little bit expensive. And then came the micro KOLs. The micro KOLs, it's actually not a new phenomenon. It's actually, as a matter of fact, the oldest marketing form known to man, which is the personal recommendation. When someone that you trust or know gives you a recommendation, you listen. That's just how we work. And this is exactly what micro KOLs deliver. A personal recommendation to their inner circle of fans and followers. So, who are these micro KOLs? I normally say that these are the fruit of social media. And they have been able to attract a larger amount of people, normally 7,000 to 30,000 fans or followers, for whatever reason. And the most important thing here is you don't have to understand why they have been able to attract those people. Because honestly, not even I understand it and I work with it. I can look at this account and I see a cat blogger and 30,000 people follow her. I don't understand it. But the most important thing is not to understand why, we just need to figure out how we can capitalize on this phenomenon. So, what's the upside working with micro KOLs compared to normal KOLs and celebrities? I would say one of the big advantages working with the micro KOLs is that we now have a tool that we are able to use to communicate with the masses. And not only with the masses, we can use it as a direct way communicated to many different isolated demographic groups at the same time as having that big volume. So we have volume and quality. And we're using a tool that people are receptive to. Remember, people follow these micro KOLs because they want to follow them. I want to listen to them. The second part is pretty obvious. Since they're not famous, I don't have to pay for their name, which makes them way more cost efficient than working with KOLs and other celebrities. And I also think it's pretty a well-known fact that, you know, the smaller the friends of circles are, the more intimate your relationship are with your fans, the more engaged they are. So these micro KOLs have the ability to engage with their followers in a much more stronger way, giving a much stronger impact compared to KOLs and celebrities. And the last point is, again, these micro KOLs having that intimate relationship with their fans obviously makes them have a big sway over the followers' purchasing decision as well, which could be very useful, of course, if we're leaning towards more performance marketing. I'm willing to say that micro KOLs, as we see it today, is probably one of the most efficient and price-effective ways in marketing today, giving you the most valuable for your marketing spending. So, if this is such a fantastic tool of marketing, why aren't more people and companies and agencies applying it? Why haven't they integrated this in their portfolios? As with all good things, also micro KOLs comes with its own challenges. And for us, it's also the same thing that works for us. It's also actually the biggest challenge. When people come to us, they don't want to work with 10 or 50 micro KOLs a month. When companies come to us, they come for the scale. We work with the thousands every month. And as you understand, when you work with thousands of different influencers per month, it's a logistical nightmare. And again, working with thousands of different influencers, also, it's a great challenge. It takes huge amount of time to find the right influencers for the right brand and also for that specific campaign. We have in our office 127 people in Shenzhen. We have our own developed software, what we call the platform, and it's still a challenge for us to handle these 10,000 of influencers that we manage every month for our clients. Only the payments, like I said, we do more than 10,000 payments, is a hassle. And most companies today haven't allocated enough resources They're not sitting with 10, 20, or 50 people in their agencies or in-house with the brands working solely. When we see the companies, mostly they have one digital manager. I'm surprised if they have a social manager or social media manager. This is how the reality looks like. And last but not least, working with global clients. Obviously, they give away the key for their brand in our hands. And we, on the other hand, give that to the micro-influencer for him to curate new content. So obviously, it's critical that we manage that content in a good way, making sure the content that is being published every day is aligned with what the brand has demanded from us. Many times get questions, how do we implement or how do we use micro-influencers in the best possible way? Where do they bring the most value? And the answer to this question is actually that they're pretty flexible. It's a versatile tool. It can be used for many different things. And to better illustrate this, I brought forward two different cases with two different objectives. And first out is a brand called Daniel Wellington. When we signed up with Daniel Wellington, they had 0 brand recognition and 0 sales. 18 months later, and having engaged 14,000 micro-influencers, we became the most recognized brand, most recognized Swedish brand, not only in China, in every Southeast Asian country that we entered. The next company started actually here in Taiwan. It's a Swedish company, but we got the pilot case here in Taiwan. Completely different challenge. We started to talk with their performance marketing department, and having a history from performance marketing, they gave us a very difficult task. They were not interested in the branding part, they only wanted to see a CPA. And working with marketing and branding, that's a nightmare for us. We're not a sales organization. However, 2.5 years ago, we accepted the case, and more than 2 years later, having engaged more than 3,500 micro KOLs, we have done so delivering a CPA to Spotify satisfaction. What these two cases also show, at regardless how you use micro KOLs for your primary objective, you will always get positive spillover effects. In the case of Daniel Wellington, yes, it was a branding case. It was a market entry strategy. However, we didn't only become the Swedish most recognized brand, we also became the top selling watch brand in each and every market, only using micro KOL as marketing form. We went from 0 to more than $30 million in 18 months. And in the case of Spotify, we delivered the CPA, but at the same time, we were able to create very good awareness results and positive perception. So to finalize this, I think moving in to this new period of time of millennials, smartphones, I think we all understand, and we have seen this before also before me, that we need to adapt. We need to bring something new to the table, not the same old melody. The end customers now, they just won't have it. We need to be more creative. And the sooner people realize this, the better. I'm not saying that micro KOLs will replace everything that is out there. I'm just saying it has to be an add-on to your portfolios today in order to stay relevant. So the question shouldn't be how or if I should implement or integrate this in my business model. It should rather be how fast can I integrate micro-influencer in my marketing portfolio. Thank you, everyone.